The vast chambers of the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion fell silent as Admiral Dren rose from his command chair. His 7-foot frame, encased in ceremonial armor adorned with the conquered worlds of 1,000 systems, cut an imposing figure against the backdrop of stars visible through the ship's observation window. Earth hung in the distance, small, blue, seemingly insignificant. "Ambassador Rose, your planet's deadline has expired," Dren stated flatly. "The Galactic Imperium has waited 3 of your Earth months for your leaders to acknowledge our sovereignty. Our patience is at an end." Ambassador Rose, a middle-aged woman with steely eyes that betrayed no fear, stood her ground. "Admiral, I've conveyed Earth's position repeatedly. We decline to submit." Dren's expression didn't change, but the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "Perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. 147 worlds have joined our Imperium this cycle alone. Some came willingly. Others required convincing." The holographic display activated, showing footage of planetary bombardments, worlds with atmospheres aflame. "Earth has no significant space fleet, no planetary shield. You have nothing but primitive weapons." Dren's voice was almost bored. "Will you watch your cities burn for pride?" Rose's expression remained neutral. "Admiral, we've studied your history. You've conquered worlds with far superior technology than ours. Yet here you are, offering terms rather than simply taking what you want. That suggests something Earth possesses concerns you." A flash of irritation crossed Dren's face. "A courtesy only. Submit by planetary dawn or face consequences." When Rose was escorted back to her shuttle, Lieutenant Mara approached the Admiral. "Sir, scanners detected unusual energy signatures from their North American continent during the meeting. Should we investigate?" Dren waved dismissively. "Irrelevant. Prepare the demonstration strike. Target their lunar base. Let them see what awaits." In an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Director Thomas watched Ambassador Rose's recorded message with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Admiral was unmoved. Rose's hologram reported, "Lunar strike imminent. Proceed with Operation Threshold." Thomas turned to the assembled military leaders. "They believe we're defenseless because we lack their technology. They don't understand what we've been preparing." General Wilson nodded grimly. "Project Rift is ready, sir." Deep within the facility, Dr. Alan Weber made final adjustments to equipment that would have looked more at home in a sorcerer's chamber than a scientific installation. Crystalline structures formed complex geometric patterns around a central platform where a team worked in absolute silence. "We've been ridiculed for decades," Weber muttered to his assistant, Dr. Lisa Park. "Theoretical physics meeting theoretical magic, and now it's our only hope." Park monitored fluctuating readings on her display. The ancients knew things were only beginning to understand. Every civilization that achieved spaceflight discovered the same truths. Reality is more malleable than we once believed. In the command center, Thomas received confirmation that the Imperial ships had fired on the lunar base. "Begin the sequence," he ordered. Admiral Dren watched with satisfaction as the lunar installation erupted in a spectacular explosion. "Send the footage to Earth's capitals. They have 6 hours to reconsider." Before the debris had settled on the lunar surface, alarms blared across the bridge. "Admiral," Lieutenant Mara called out, her voice tight with confusion. "Something's happening. Massive energy spike from the planet." Dren turned to the view screen. Initially, nothing seemed amiss. Earth remained a serene blue marble. Then he noticed it, a shimmer in space before his fleet, like heat rising from desert sands. "What am I looking at?" he demanded. The science officer's voice quavered. "Unknown, sir. It appears to be a distortion in spacetime itself." In the mountain facility, Weber watched as the crystalline array glowed with impossible colors. The team had theorized, calculated, and tested for years, but nothing could have prepared them for the actual sight of a controlled rift opening between dimensions. "Maintaining stability," Park reported, her fingers dancing across controls. "The ancient formulas are holding." Weber nodded. "Our ancestors called it magic. Previous civilizations called it different names. But it's all the same fundamental force, the ability to bend reality at its most basic level. On the monitors, they could see the Imperial fleet suddenly scrambling, ships moving into defensive positions as the rift expanded. On the asterisk, Eternal Dominion asterisk, chaos erupted as systems failed one by one. The ship's advanced technology, the pride of Imperial engineering, sputtered and died in proximity to the growing anomaly. Pull back. Dren ordered, genuine fear in his voice for the first time. Full retreat. Drives not responding, Mara reported. Something's interfering with all quantum systems. Through the view screen, Dren watched in horror as the rift stabilized into a swirling portal of energy. From within its depths, shapes began to emerge, massive, shadowy forms that defied comprehension, entities that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the eye could process. A communication signal cut through the disabled systems of the flagship. Admiral Dren, Ambassador Rose's voice came through clearly. Earth has opened the door. We've had guardians watching over us for millennia, beings from beyond conventional space. We didn't develop your kind of technology because we discovered something far more profound. The shapes continued emerging, some the size of continents, others shifting between states of matter. They surrounded the Imperial fleet like predators circling wounded prey. These entities have protected Earth since our earliest days, Rose continued. They exist partially outside our universe, seeing all possible futures. They knew you would come eventually. They've been waiting. Dren stood speechless as one of the entities approached his ship. Up close, it resembled nothing he had seen in a lifetime of galactic conquest, a shifting mass of geometric impossibilities that hurt the eye to observe directly. Here are our terms, Admiral, Rose stated firmly. The Imperium will acknowledge Earth as a sovereign protectorate's own. In exchange, we'll close the rift and send our guardians back to their slumber. Refuse. They will not be contained. For the first time in the 1,000-year history of the Galactic Imperium, a surrender was issued without debate. 3 days later, Thomas and Weber stood at the observation deck of the lunar base, watching repair crews work. They'll be back eventually, Weber said quietly, with new technology, new strategies. Thomas nodded, and we'll be ready. The rift taught us more than we expected. The universe is stranger than anyone imagined, except perhaps our ancestors who carved warnings and instructions into stone. Below them, Earth shimmered in the blackness of space, a small planet that had just changed the course of galactic history. They commanded homage, Thomas said with a small smile. We showed them humility instead.